If you could do something that would protect your child in the future from possibly dying, you would do it, right? Vaccinations are a way you can do that. To top it off, the U.S. Health Department and states make some vaccinations mandatory to prevent outbreaks of deadly viruses and epidemics. Well, recently there has been a lot of controversy over the vaccine for human papillomavirus. HPV is a sexually transmitted disease that causes genital warts and can lead to cervical cancer. The only way you can get HPV is through sexual contact, and this seems to be where the controversy comes in. I'm aware that this is a touchy subject, but we need to be informed before we make a decision that has more to do with what is best for the child over our emotions. I want to provide some facts about vaccinations and provide you numbers on how many people have HPV and cervical cancer in the U.S. Before 1982, an estimated 200,000 to 300,000 persons in the United States were infected annually with HPV, more commonly known as hepatitis B, including approximately 20,000 children. No practical method of pre-exposure prophylaxis for HPV existed, and the only post-exposure prophylaxis available was injection with hepatitis B immune globulin. Since 1982, substantial progress has been made towards eliminating HPV transmission in children and reducing the risk of HPV infection in adults. During 1982 to 2002, an estimated 40 million infants and children and 30 million adults received hepatitis B vaccine. Because of vaccination and changes in risk reduction behaviors among at-risk populations in response to the HIV and AIDS epidemic, the number of persons infected in the United States declined to an estimated 79,000 people in 2001. Polio and smallpox have been eradicated completely by vaccinations. They're proven to work. 11,000 infants are born every day, and they are vaccinated against 11 types of diseases such as mumps, measles, rubella, and hepatitis B. According to one study, the Standard Childhood Immunization Series prevents approximately 10.5 million cases of infectious illness a year and 33,000 deaths in the United States. Another report published by the World Health Organization, UNICEF, and the World Bank found that 3 million lives are saved worldwide each year through childhood immunizations, a number that could be doubled with increased funding. Genital HPV is the most commonly sexual transmitted infection in the United States. About 20 million Americans aged 15 to 49 have HPV, and at least half of all sexually active men and women get genital HPV at some point in their lives. Every year, about 12,000 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer, and about 4,000 women die from the disease in the United States. Worldwide, cervical cancer is the third leading cause of death from cancer in women. Well, there's a way to prevent your daughter from getting cervical cancer, and that is by getting one of the 2 HPV vaccinations that are out there, Gardasil and Cervarix, both approved by the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics. There are about 40 different types of HPV, but only 2 types account for approximately 70% of cervical cancer cases. Gardasil and Cervarix protect females from these types of cancer. It is recommended to be taken by females between the ages of 9 to 26 years old that have not had any sexual contact. There's a series of 3 shots that cost around $130 a shot and $390 total. Most insurance covers the cost, and there are programs available to assist other people with the cost. The Vaccines for Children program helps families of eligible children who might not otherwise have access to the vaccine. I see where people get emotional or even offended about their daughter having to get a vaccine for a disease that you can only get from sexual contact. The most important way to prevent this is to get the vaccine before teens become sexually active. Studies done before widespread HPV vaccination show that by the time they're 15, nearly 10% of American girls are infected with HPV. By the age of 17, that has doubled to nearly 20%. I've also read where people are concerned that it might give their kid the wrong idea. and that it's okay to have premarital sex. That is where the parent needs to get involved and explain that they are protecting them against cervical cancer, not promoting premarital sex. I appreciate your time hearing me out about this subject. We must not let our emotions get the best of us when it comes to protecting our children from a very real disease. Parents must be involved with talking to their child about the consequences of premarital sex, STDs, pregnancy, and promoting abstinence. Vaccines are safe and effective and are necessary in preventing epidemics and outbreaks. When my daughter's old enough, she will be getting the vaccine. Rodney Willoughby, a designated spokesman for the American Academy of Pediatrics, was quoted as saying, "If in 20 years' time my daughter, with 2 children at home, developed cervical cancer and I didn't give her the vaccine, I'm going to be looking pretty hard in the mirror at myself." Thank you.